Hello and welcome to the Horror Homestead. My name is GiBi, this is Toto, and in this video we're going to be going over the FNAF community update. That's when you guys leave questions in the comment sections of my videos, and I answer the questions. It's like a Q&A. Except at the end of the video I also talk about news in the community, so stay tuned for that. First question. In FNAF 2, it's mentioned that the puppet can fly. Is it ever explained how that makes any sense? No. It's actually kind of funny because a lot of people take issue with the Funtime animatronics being like too sophisticated technologically to exist basically anywhere earlier in the timeline than like the 2000s. I don't know why that's people's like cutoff date for that. Maybe because they have like 90s purple and chrome aesthetics. I don't know. Like I put the Funtime animatronics creation in the 80s. Some people are like, that's way too early for that, and then some other people are like, oh, well, William Afton could have done it, and that's fine. We can just say, that's cool, that's whatever. But the fact that so few people talk about the fact that the puppet can literally fly is pretty funny. And it's not like it's like a marionette on rails that can like zoop-de-zoop the way through the building, because the puppet goes outside. The puppet goes outside in the rain. It collapses from the rain because it's a cloth puppet, I guess, to go see Charlie before it's possessed. You can't even say this is ghost magic. This is literally just what the puppet can do. He can just fly, and no one talks about it. So yeah, the answer is it ever explained? No. Does it make any sense? Also no. It's probably the most fantastical nonsense in the entire FNAF universe. Like, I understand if you're going to create a fictional story where, like, ghost magic remnant can do something that, like, isn't real. Like, oh, there's psychics, there's mind reading. You can bring things back to life with ghost magic. That's fine. But this robot being able to fly, I agree, makes no sense. Devon and Mick, two characters from the new kid, remind me of Greg and Rowley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Yeah, so I did not read those books or seen that movies or anything like that. I don't even know how to pronounce the one guy's name. But that is exactly what I was thinking of when I was reading the book. Toward the end of my video, which you should watch my Fazbear Frights videos, they're all really good. Toward the end of that video, I made a comment like, oh, I'm glad how this sort of event that transpired didn't lead Devon and Mick to like have a falling out and like not be friends anymore. And I referenced how a lot of kids media would probably do that. And I was thinking about this clip.
Don't call me. Don't come by my house.
I don't know the context of that clip. I've just seen it as a meme a lot, and I knew it's from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So that is what I was thinking of. So I agree, even though I don't know who those people are. I think Greg is the main character. Also in the new kid, I talked about justice, because the book talks about justice a lot. They have a whole class period where they're like, what is justice? And then a character is like, justice is revenge. And other people are like, yo, that's like a thing I'm thinking of. I'm 14 and this is deep. And then obviously the entire story is about justice for doing something. So I talked about justice. Candy Bunny actually just made a whole video about justice. Doesn't talk about the new kid though. And in my video, I said that justice, in my opinion, can be defined by its root words, just and ice. And from these root words, we can determine that, like revenge, just ice is best served cold. It's a pun. Justice comes from Latin's inustia, righteousness, equity. As far as I'm aware, it has nothing to do with frozen water, etymologically speaking. Play along. It's a pun. Just ice. But tisk. It's funny. I'm not sure about Dave's age, but something that I've been saying for some time is that in FNAF 4, we play as someone as tall as the Doorknob. That is really short. I bet we play as a kid that's not even a teen yet. This is one motive why I think we play as Dave and not as Mike. So yeah, that is true. Doorknob would be like, what, like this was tall? Doorknob height? Like 4 feet? So yeah, we do play as someone short. Obviously, because the FNAF 4 that we play is a dream. And the theory or the timeline that people try to come up with is that dream based on reality? And if so, who is experiencing the reality of that situation? That does actually bring into question Rory. So Rory is a character from the books who undergoes this sleep experiment for 10 years or so. And so yeah, if they grow up throughout the course of the book, then obviously they wouldn't still be Doorknob height. So if that's games canon, that's kind of weird. But yes, so that doesn't stop it from being Mike. It's basically confirmed, one of the few things that has just like so much evidence backing up in the entire franchise. It's basically confirmed that the person playing the FNAF 4 nighttime gameplay is Mike. Whether Mike is the person who really experienced that is up in the air. But Mike is definitely the person dreaming it. Completely dumb, unrelated question. Who's the autographed photo in the background next to the Marvel vs. DC omnibus? I can't quite make it out for some reason. My curiosity is getting the better of me, lol. I actually moved it. It's up on the wall now. My room's also kind of a mess right now. So, you're talking about this signed photo. That would be Mr. William Afton Lillard signed the photo to me. And then the other one is a lenticular poster of all of Kellen Goth's different voiced characters. To Devon, one big happy family. These were both from a charity thing that John FNAF did. So that's where those both came from. These were donated to charity or something. The money was donated to charity. I bought them. Matthew Lillard, Kellen Goth. There's like so much stuff on that wall that you guys can't see because of the camera angle. Mike Michael is short for Michelangelo. Ralph is short for Raphael. Dave is short for Da Vinci, as in Leonardo. Cowabunga. Michael isn't short for anything, and Leonardo's last name is Da Vinci, not Da Vinci. And also Dave is short for David. Cool. It's confirmed since the books were announced with the description of taking place on the world of the newer games. So this is talking about the canonicity of the Frights and Tales games. Frights and Tales books. Tales game, that's a theory name. This is something that has been so completely and widely debunked that I don't know why people are still saying it. Rytoast has a great video going over this. Basically, it's the same as the FNAF 3 Steam description, where grammatically you can interpret the sentence multiple different ways. And so saying that one of them is the correct way is incredibly silly. The books take place in the world of the games. That could mean literally anything. Rytoast's example is that the new Mario movie takes place in the world of Mario. It's in the Mushroom Kingdom. That does not mean it's canon or in the same continuity as Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Tales from the Pizzaplex taking place in the world of the newer games, meaning the Pizzaplex, does not mean it's in continuity with the games. That is simply not what that sentence means. Could that be the intention? Could Tales games be true? Of course, but if it is, it has nothing to do with this sentence. Hey GiBi, I've noticed that FNAF 4 Ambiance has a dog sample. Assuming Scott doesn't do random Easter eggs, does that mean that Susie's dog is in the Didophobia bunker, and then they have a little emoji that shows that they're like half joking? There's a lot of things that are sampled in all the FNAF games. Scott uses an audio sound library. We've talked about this before, but the Night 4 jumbled audio in FNAF 1 that's the autobiography of a yogi in reverse caught up and put through a voice changer thing is just a sound sample and was not something that Scott put in there intentionally as an Easter egg. So why is there a dog in the FNAF 4 files? It's possible because a dog barking might sound a little bit like a scary Foxy because of Foxy Bro. It's possible that if you slow down the effect, it sounds like a sound that Scott wanted to use. It's possible it's just create the ambiance of a suburban street. There's a dog walking down the street. Do I think this has anything to do with the Susie's dog theory? I think that if Scott wanted to reference the Susie's dog theory, there would have been a girl with a dog on the street outside in the FNAF 4 minigames. Basically, it could mean anything. I know that we do go through the files, and Scott knows that we go through the files, but as of now, Scott has never used the files to deliver any, like, lore. He's used the source code on his website, but he's never used the game files. This might have been covered before, but if FNAF 2 is a prequel to FNAF 1, how would the MCI kids be possessing the FNAF 2 animatronics? So the MCI happens in 1985. That's when the children are killed and put into the animatronic suits. We don't need to talk about whether we think the puppet did it or whether we think William did it. That's the year it happened. That's when the animatronics get possessed. FNAF 2 takes place in 1987. So it's been this many years since the MCI happened. So the withered animatronics are possessed by the MCI kids that were killed 2 years ago. I'm not even going to touch how the toys are possessed. That part doesn't matter. When FNAF 1 takes place after FNAF 2, in the 90s, I think 92, most people seem to think 93. There are some other dates that are thrown out there nowadays, but when FNAF 1 happens after FNAF 2, the animatronics are still possessed by the original MCI that happened in 1985. So that's how the MCI kids are possessing the FNAF 2 animatronics, because the MCI happened before FNAF 2. Nightguard Johnny says, thinking out loud here, do we think it's at all possible that the Mimic or a Mimic was in the Fredbear suit when it bit Dave? We know it existed before 1983, and there was an incident involving a Mimic somewhere earlier in the timeline. That would make the secret of the Mimic that it caused the big bite. I absolutely think this is a possibility. I would also probably hate this. One of the things I'm really not looking forward to in The Secret of the Mimic or any of this ongoing Mimic storyline is that it retcons things from earlier in the franchise. And I don't mean that it, like, says that they didn't happen or whatever. I mean that, like, it recontextualizes them so much and gives importance to newer characters just to make them seem important. The Mimic bit Dave, because the Mimic was the real villain the whole time. It would seem kind of really lame if that happened. Is it possible? Absolutely. Does it technically slot in just comfortably enough that, like, we wouldn't shake our heads and go, oh, that's stupid? Technically. I just kind of, like, don't want it to happen. I kind of want that to just remain an accident. Now, obviously, it could still be an accident if the Mimic was involved. It would just seem kind of a little too coincidental. A little too much of, like, the field influencing things, if you know what I mean. I guess we'll see when Secret of the Mimic launches later this year. And that's the last question. Alright, before we go, I wanted to talk about two very important videos that I watched this week. The first is by FNAFology, who's put out their third banger of a video, FNAF World Character Loading Screen Analysis. Going through all of the different loading screens throughout FNAF World and discussing the lore implications of the text that's on screen, along with the little chibi characters. That's the kind of thing we need more of in this community. You gotta really dig down deep. I don't care about your thoughts about Midnight Motorist, I want to know your thoughts on the FNAF World loading screens. And then of course we have T-Dread's new video, We Overanalyzed Every FNAF Game and Broke the Lore. An hour-and-a-half long highlight video from all of his streams where him and other FNAF theorists dissect the lore. I made this thumbnail for him, but he didn't want to use it for some reason. But it's not just stream highlights and little quippy jokey jokes. He pauses it, explains what's going on, and breaks it down into little mega lore sections. Mega theories. Brand new ideas, some of which the vast community hasn't heard of. Lefty DCI 14 theory, that's just the beginning. They made a really interesting observation on the Springlock suit from Sister Location. On the night when you're supposed to be in the Springlock suit, you're obviously in the scooping room because you watch Ballora in front of you get scooped, and yet when you're in the scooping room on the final level, there's no Springlock suit in there. Where is it? Where's that Springlock suit? Did someone move it? Why wouldn't it be there? What's going on, Scott? Was this a mistake or is this deep lore? It's probably a mistake. Anyway, that's the kind of thing that T-Dreads goes over in that video, and you guys should watch it, and you should also like that video. Because if it gets 4,000 likes, then he has to do a live stream where he goes over every single aspect of Security Breach, and that's going to take him like 100 hours, and that would be very funny. Thank you for watching. If you have more questions for me, you can leave them in the comment section below. Be sure to be nice to each other in that comment section, and in the comment sections of every other FNAF theorist. You can support your favorite creators, including me, if I happen to be one of your favorite creators. I have a Patreon linked in the description. You could be a patron. Every Sunday, I have a new release in my series going over the Fazbear Fright stories, so whether you're an expert in those or not, you can learn a lot about them by watching them 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. And remember to never lose sight of the things that are important to you. Toto, you're important to me. And then he stops moving. It's whatever. And remember that Freddy's stands for Friendly, Respectful Engagement, Discussion, and Discourse Yield Success.